So in the previous video we set objects upon which drop an item gets either deleted or sold. In this video we're gonna continue with this talk about calling panels and other UIs assigned on Panel Manager with a clicks of a button. But first I gotta organize my items in the scene. So I created an empty game object called items in scene and just drag and drop items to it, so in such way that it's a parent of them. Now we are going to go on Panel Manager, and we're going to increase the size of panels array by 5. That's because we want, as I said in the previous video, we can call this delete button on a key press, even though it's not a panel. So even though Panel Manager is called Panel Manager and contains word panel in it, it's actually meant for displaying and hiding other UI elements. So that they don't necessarily have to be panels by their nature. So you can assign even buttons, images, texts, and so on. What is important though is that they must have canvas group component attached to them. So every element assigned under panel slot in inspector under Panel Manager in this panels array must have canvas group component attached to them. So now I attach this delete image and assigned minus key for calling. And when I press play and test it, I got an error. Why? Because I haven't attached canvas group. So that's a mistake you would probably make if you didn't know this information. So now I assigned canvas group on delete item image holder. That is the same object that is assigned to that panels array under Panel Manager. And now when I run the game and press minus on my keyboard, it gets displayed in fade in and hidden and fade out kind of manner, because I set it to fade in and fade out when hiding under Panel Manager. Now what if we don't want to call panels in our game by simply clicking on some keys, but rather when clicking on some buttons? For example, you can have a button called inventory, and when you click on that button, an inventory panel should be displayed. Or you can have some hamburger icon, and when you click on that, all menus should pop up. What about that? Well, this framework handles that problem too. So you can go to, in order to prove that, I just drag and drop button container panel, which contains multiple buttons that are centered on top and the middle. For example, stats button, inventory button, equipment button, and so on. And all these buttons, they must have a panel button script attached to them in order to work properly, because using that script they are going to be detected here in Inspector when going on Panel Manager. So to implement this colon button functionality, just check colon button press for that panel, for example inventory panel, if you want to call inventory in such manner, and then assign inventory show button game object, which contains panel button handler script attached to it, and that's the same for hide panel button. If you check one button visible, for example, then only one button of those two will be visible at a time. That means when you click on the show button for inventory, then the one that is used for hiding will be hidden. You won't be able to see it on the screen. And the opposite also applies. So when you click on, for example, the red X, which is a symbol for closing something, you can make it a button too. So just assign a button with a red X image, and when you click on it, then the other button, which is meant for displaying an inventory, will be displayed. The same thing I did for character stats panel and other panels. So what I should have in mind when doing this is just that they have this button handler script attached to it, so every object that is used as a button for either calling or hiding some certain panel or UI element, because as I said, they don't necessarily have to be panels that can be other UI elements, it must have that script attached.